For 5 whole years, I've been secretly married to my CEO wife. We were just about to finally go public, but instead, she completely ignored my feelings and handed me the ultimate betrayal. Her childhood crush, that super famous star CHOI, suddenly got caught in a massive late-night scandal involving some young model. Under all those camera flashes, K-V grabs the mic, completely ignoring my hopeful look from the crowd. She totally ignores our 5-year marriage too. Staring right into all those camera lenses, she makes her bold announcement absolutely clear. Word for exact word. CHO and I are indeed dating, and I really hope everyone gives a lot of support to his newest project. The moment she finishes, the studio goes wild, and then thunderous cheers of congratulations absolutely erupt. Surrounded by all that wild cheering, CHOI excitedly rushes the stage and pulls K-V into a really tight hug. Then, with thousands of people watching, they share this incredibly deep kiss, leaving me standing there as the absolute most ridiculous spectator down in the crowd. The guests right next to me are eagerly whispering about how perfectly matched this golden couple is. They have absolutely no idea that the actual legal husband of their so-called perfect female lead is sitting right there in the middle of them. It feels like some invisible hand is crushing my heart, instantly leaving me totally breathless. But I do not cry, and I do not cause a scene. I just quietly watch those two kissing on stage, smiling as I join the crowd of happy onlookers. I clap hard right along with them, sending my most sincere blessings. My claps are incredibly sharp, with a very clear rhythm. Up on that stage, K-V actually seems pretty startled by this distinct sound. She pushes CHOI away, looking straight through the massive crowd right back at me. Her eyes clearly carry a sudden flash of shock, or maybe even a tiny, barely noticeable hint of guilt hidden inside. She probably thought I was going to get totally furious, lose all control, and rush the stage to confront her. It is too bad I'm completely disappointing her today. I just raise my glass toward her, the smile on my lips growing a bit deeper. Then I down the whole drink in one shot and simply turn around. I decisively leave the studio right in the middle of all those loud congratulations. K-V, from the exact moment you deliberately chose to use our marriage to pave the way for your precious childhood crush's career, settling our debts is the only real thing left between us. I head straight back to our shared home, a beautiful penthouse that looks right down over the entire city's sparkling night view. I do not leave a light on for the latecomer like I always do. Instead, I just casually start packing up every single thing that belongs to me. Just my clothes, my books, the laptop I have used for 5 years, and even the green plants I grew with my own hands. For these past 5 years, strictly because of K-V, I turned down an amazing offer from a top overseas lab, entirely willing to just be the quiet man standing behind her. She handles the outside world, successfully founding the Thunhua Group, which now holds a truly massive market value of hundreds of billions. I handle everything on the inside, managing every single little detail just to be her absolute strongest backup. Everyone out there constantly praises her as this incredible, once-in-a-century business genius who can do absolutely no wrong. But nobody actually knows that behind every single crucial decision of the Thunhua Group, and behind every media crisis they solve, my shadow is always right there doing the work. I'm actually the one true stabilizing pillar holding up the entire Thunhua Group. Now get this, because I loved her, I was totally willing to hide all my brilliance just for her, pushing every single bit of credit onto her so she could brightly shine under the spotlight. I really thought she actually understood all my sacrifices. I honestly thought 5 whole years of sharing thick and thin together would be enough to easily beat that vague, totally failed childhood romance of hers. It was not until tonight that I finally realized I was wrong. In her heart, I am probably just some highly functional life partner, nothing but a convenient little tool that easily provides warmth and solid support whenever she happens to need it. But the moment her precious crush needs something, I can be completely sacrificed without a single second thought. It is honestly just ridiculous to the extreme. Right around midnight, K-V finally comes home. She seems to have had some wine, her cheeks a bit flushed. Seeing those packed suitcases sitting at my feet, her eyes quickly flash. Hein BNH, what exactly are you doing right now? Her tone actually carries a sharp hint of questioning, almost as if I am the one who messed up. Moving out, as you can see. I close the last suitcase and reply super casually. She frowns and steps right over to me, her body still carrying the very obvious scent of that other man's cologne. Is this really all just because of tonight? Hein BNH, can you please act a bit more mature? I got framed by rivals, and I simply had to step up and clear his name. This is honestly the most effective PR tactic available. We are husband and wife, so you really should be understanding and fully supporting me here. Looking straight at her incredibly confident and self-righteous attitude, I suddenly find the whole thing quite laughable. Can you actually believe her? I understand and support you completely. Which is exactly why I clap the loudest down there. I dust off my hands and stand right up. So, just to avoid ruining your sweet little romance with the great superstar CHOI, I am proactively moving out to make plenty of room for you two. Am I mature enough for you now, CEO K? Hearing this, K-Thuk V's expression finally shifts completely. She probably never expected that a constantly obedient guy like me could suddenly say such sharply, thorny words right to her face. Hein BNH. Stop making a completely unreasonable scene over absolutely nothing. She takes a long, deep breath, her tone finally softening. I know you definitely feel wronged here. How about this? That massive West City villa gets transferred directly into your name tomorrow. Plus, I will give you another bank card, 50 million. The password is your birthday. Consider it my way of compensating you. Kai-Thuk Vu pulls a sleek black card from her bag, handing it over like she is tipping some totally disobedient subordinate. Compensation. She actually thinks she can just measure our 5 entire years of marriage with cold, hard cash. I just look at that card and let out a laugh. Alright then. I take the card and snap it right in front of her face. That sharp crack sounds especially loud inside this dead silent living room. Kai-Thuk Vu, there is absolutely no need for compensation between us. I toss the 2 broken halves onto the coffee table, walking away with absolutely nothing. After saying that, I drag my suitcase straight out the door without even looking back. Hyen Bin, Kai-Thuk Vu, calls out, her voice carrying this tiny hint of panic. What do you actually want? I stop walking, but I refuse to turn around. Kai-Thuk Vu, meet me at the Civil Affairs office at 9 am sharp tomorrow. I really hope you arrive on time. I slam the door shut, completely cutting off every single sound of her voice. Stepping out of this door, I am no longer just a nameless guy standing behind the great CEO of Thin Hoa Group. I am Hyen Bin, and I am finally back. The very next day, I wait outside the Civil Affairs office for 1 whole hour, but she never shows up. The person who does arrive is her chief lawyer, Kai Van Thu. Kai Van Thu was actually our university senior, a top-tier gold medal lawyer, completely famous in the industry for being insanely calm and totally professional. Today she is wearing a very sharp black suit, pushing those gold-rimmed glasses up her nose as she hands a thick document over to me. Mr. Hyen, CEO Kai has a crucial cross-departmental meeting today, so she could not make it here. This is the divorce agreement she told me to bring to you. I take the agreement and quickly flip through it. The terms are written pretty generously, beyond the villa and the 50 million mentioned last night. They even added a small share of Thin Hoa Group. It is just a tiny 0.5%. But the catch is I have to sign this insanely strict non-disclosure agreement. I must permanently promise to never, ever reveal any single piece of information about us. Ever. Being husband and wife. If I break it, I would have to face a totally sky-high penalty fee. She really did calculate every single detail perfectly. I close the agreement with a self-deprecating laugh. She wants to use this tiny bit of profit to completely buy out my 5 years of sacrifice, while conveniently locking me in lifelong chains? Mr. Hyen, CEO Kai is genuinely doing this for your own good. She is currently a very major public figure, so any kind of negative news would immediately cause a huge impact on the company's stock price. Kai Van Thu keeps her tone perfectly calm, purely, strictly business. For my own good, I slowly lift my head up to look right at her. So do you happen to know exactly who wrote the Thin Kai artificial intelligence system that Thin Hoa Group currently completely relies on to survive? Kai Van Thu completely freezes up for a second. Do you know who stayed awake for 7 entire days and nights to create the perfect counterattack? When Thin Hoa was almost maliciously acquired by Wall Street Capital 3 whole years ago. The look in Kai Van Thu's eyes suddenly starts changing. Now watch her reaction right here. Do you know exactly who is actually giving her those terrifyingly accurate data analyses and market forecasts for every single massive business expansion that she is always so deeply proud of? With every single question I ask, Kai Van Thu's face turns another shade of pale. These are all absolute core top secrets of Thin Hoa Group. Besides me and Kai-Thuk Vu, outsiders absolutely could never know about this. Mr. Hyen, nothing. She took absolutely everything from me. My deep dedication, my hard work, my 5 years of youth, and then she turned me into a dirty secret that can never ever see the light of day. I tear the agreement to shreds and toss it right into the nearby trash. Now, she actually wants to use these pathetic little breadcrumbs to politely chase me away. Lawyer Kai, go back and tell Kai Thuk Vu I'm absolutely getting a divorce. But definitely not through this incredibly humiliating kind of method. I will personally take back every single piece that truly belongs to me. After saying that, I completely ignore Kai Van Thu standing there absolutely stunned, and just turn around to leave. Stepping straight out of the civil affairs office, I skip going home entirely and head right to the company I registered early on, Sang Tao Tech. 1 week ago, when I sharply noticed the contact between Kai Thuk Vu and Ko Hoi getting way more frequent. I already knew this day was coming sooner or later. I paved the way for Kai Thuk Vu for 5 whole years. Now, it is finally time to live for myself. The Sang Tao Tech office is honestly not very big, with only a handful of staff. But they are all the loyal partners I have trusted the most since my school days. Seeing me arrive, my big tech guy immediately rushes over to quickly greet me. Boss, you are finally here, man. The prototype model of the Koi Deem system we have been developing is already running perfectly smoothly. The Koi Deem system. This is the incredible next-generation artificial intelligence interface. I spent 2 entire years of pure dedication, carefully developing, using every single bit of my precious free time. It puts Thin Hoa's Thien Kai system at least 1 full generation behind. This was originally supposed to be the next massive gift I prepared for Kai Thuk Vu. I originally completely planned to hand the system over to her right after we publicly announced our marriage, serving as the core competitive strength for Thin Hoa Group for the next 10 years. But now, this is going to be the very first weapon I use to completely destroy her. Give me the data right now. I sit down at the computer, my hands flying across the keyboard as lines of code just pour out like flowing water. These exact same hands once built a massive commercial empire for Kai Thuk Vu, and now they will be the ones to personally bury that exact same empire. For the entire following week, I basically eat and sleep right at the company. My team and I run the final optimizations and testing for the brand new Koi Deem system. As for Kai Thuk Vu, she finally seems to snap out of it after that absolutely brutal night. She starts blowing up my phone with calls and WeChat messages. At first, it is pure bossy commands hein BNH. You had your fun, just come home. Do not make this hard for me. When I do not reply at all, her tone softens up completely, playing the emotional card. A BNH, she says, I was totally wrong. I never should have treated you like that. But you have to understand me. CHO is my childhood dream, and I just want to fulfill that dream this one time. Are all these years of our love really that incredibly fragile? Give me a little more time, just until CHO gets his new movie out and things settle down. I will handle everything. Handle it? Handle it how? Let CHO keep playing her secret lover, or make me stay the invisible husband who cannot ever step into the light. I do not text back a single word. My absolute silence seems to send Kai Thuk Vu into a total panic. She starts waiting downstairs at my company all the time, bringing all sorts of gifts I used to like, but she has no idea that every single item she sends just reminds me how totally pathetic I have been for the past few years. Tonight, my team and I just wrapped up the final testing phase for the Origin system. Stepping out of the building, I spot that familiar Bentley. Kai Thuk Vu is leaning against the car, looking incredibly haggard and pale. Seeing me, she rushes right over and grabs my arm. A BNH, she pleads, let us talk. But I tell her there is nothing to say. I try to pull away from her grasp. No, listen to my explanation first. She cries out, holding onto me tight with completely red eyes. It is not what you think between me and CHOI. I cut her off, asking why her affairs matter to me. I cut her off coldly. CEOK, please have some self-respect. Do not ruin my company's image. Your company, she asks. Kai Thuk Vu just freezes, then gives this bitter laugh. Hein BNH, stop messing around and come home with me. How long can your tiny savings even last? Without me, you are absolutely nothing in this world. This right here is her truest, most honest thought. In her eyes, I'm just some weak parasite clinging to her. But you can feel the shift here, right? Kai Thuk Vu. I look straight into her eyes, enunciating every word soon you will see. Without me, you're the one who is absolutely nothing. I forcefully shake off her hand, get into another car with my team, and drive right off. Through the rearview mirror, Kai Thuk Vu's figure gets smaller and smaller, looking so incredibly lonely and helpless. There was once a time I could never stand seeing her like that. But right now, my heart is as completely calm as still water. 2 days later, Genesis Tech hosts a pretty small-scale but insanely influential press conference. For our very first major new product launch, we officially roll out the Origin Artificial Intelligence System. As I stand up on stage, personally demonstrating its insanely powerful features that completely and utterly L-class revelation. Representatives from over 10 top domestic and foreign investment firms sitting in the audience absolutely lose their minds. The moment the press conference ends, investment letters of intent for Genesis Tech are already completely piling up all over my desk. Overnight, Genesis Tech makes a massive name for itself, and our valuation totally skyrockets. Hein BNH is no longer the man hiding behind K-V, but a rising star in the tech world. And honestly, this is just the very beginning. Now watch this. Fallout. The birth of Genesis Tech sends a massive shockwave through the entire industry. Naturally, the heaviest blow lands straight on the Hoa Group. The Revelation System is the Hoa's core product, acting as the absolute main pillar for their 70 billion market value. Now, the sudden appearance of Origin feels just like a razor-sharp sword stabbing straight into the Hoa's heart. The Hoa's stock absolutely plummets, literally evaporating nearly 3 billion in value in just 3 short days. The board of directors is a total mess, constantly pressuring K-V. I can easily imagine just how badly she is pulling her hair out right about now. Sure enough, her phone call comes through again. This time, her voice is completely filled with sheer exhaustion and total disbelief. Hein BNH, you did this, right? You made Origin. Yeah, I do not deny it. There is a long silence on the other end, followed by her deeply suppressed, angry voice. Why would you do this? Are you only satisfied if you completely destroy the Hoa and destroy me too? I'm just taking back what belongs to me. Belongs to you? Hein BNH, do not forget you are my husband. What is yours is mine. Doing this is sheer betrayal. I just laugh at her. The exact second I watched you holding and kissing another man on stage, announcing to the whole world he was your true lover. Who exactly was the one betraying who first? That is not the same. That was just there is nothing different about it. I cut her off. You easily sacrificed me for your precious first love. So why can I not touch your piece of the pie for the sake of my own career? K-V. Business is war. Did you forget the very things you originally taught me? Saying that, I hang up the phone. I know. This phone call completely shattered K-V's final little illusion. She finally understands that I am not just throwing some petty tantrum. I'm actually playing for keeps here. Right after that, she starts mobilizing every single resource to ruthlessly pressure and suppress Genesis Tech. She leverages her massive influence in the industry to completely cut off all our supply chains, poaches all our core employees, and even spreads nasty rumors that our Origin system was built on stolen trade secrets right from the Hoa. Just like that, creative technology is totally surrounded by enemies. My team members are definitely panicking a bit. They keep asking, boss, what do we do now? All our investors have pulled out, and the material suppliers just unilaterally breached their contracts without warning. Fatty is so anxious he is literally drenched in sweat, but I'm unusually calm. Why panic? Everything she knows, I know, and everything she does not know, I know too. I spent 5 entire years carefully building up a massive commercial relationship network just for Kai-Thuk-Vu. Time is up. Now it is finally time for this network to serve me. I set up a meeting with someone a person Kai-Thuk-Vu would absolutely never expect. The second largest shareholder of Thin Hoa Group, the vice president. A guy who has always craved the CEO position. Inside a private tea house, I slide a thick folder right in front of him. Mr. Lai, I tell him, here is all the evidence of Thin Hoa Group's major compliance violations over the past 3 years, along with detailed statements showing exactly how Kai-Thuk-Vu abused her position to funnel benefits to Ko-Hoi's studio. Pure shock. The vice president's eyes instantly light up. He stares at me like he is looking at an absolute monster. He asks how I even got this stuff. I tell him it does not matter who has it. What matters is whether this can actually help him secure the seat he wants. So what do I want? My demand is simple. I want him to launch a vote of no confidence against Kai-Thuk-Vu at the board meeting. After that, Creative Technology gets a strategic partnership with the new Thin Hoa Group. He narrows his eyes. Why should I trust you? Trust this, I tell him, with a calm smile, turning on the mini projector right beside us. The wall clearly displays the complete second-generation core structure diagram of the Koi-Deem system. Relying on Koi-Deem, it will always stay one full generation ahead of Thin Kai. The vice president's breathing instantly grows heavy and rushed. He knows full well this is his one and only chance. The absolute best opportunity he is ever going to get. Fine, I will do it. Everything is proceeding exactly according to my plan. 3 days later, Thin Hoa Group convenes an emergency board of directors meeting. Right at the meeting, the vice president suddenly goes on the offensive, throwing all the evidence I gave him straight down onto the table. The entire board explodes, embezzling public funds, leaking corporate benefits, huge strategic errors leading directly to a massive drop in their stock price. Game over. Every single charge is enough to kick Kai Thuk Vu right off her CEO throne. Now here is where the tension peaks. Kai Thuk Vu has no excuses left, her face going pale. She never expected her most trusted deputy to deliver a fatal blow at this crucial moment. She especially never expected that the mastermind pushing all this forward is actually the very husband she once completely looked down on. Just as all the shareholders are getting ready to vote Kai Thuk Vu out, the meeting room door is suddenly pushed wide open. The person walking in is Kai Ven Thu. But listen, today, she is not arriving as Kai Thuk Vu's personal lawyer. She walks right up next to Kai Thuk Vu and speaks clearly in front of all the shareholders. Dear shareholders, before everyone makes a decision, I would like to invite you all to look at something. Opening the laptop she brought along, she connects it to the projector, and a formal share transfer agreement appears right there on the screen. 3 months ago, CEO Kai transferred 20% of her Thin Hoa shares to her husband, Mr. Hyen Bin. At the same time, they did not just get secretly married, they registered it properly. They tied the knot in the US 5 whole years ago. Moreover, since Thin Hoa Group's founding, they completely notarized their marital assets. The notarized agreement clearly states that Thin Hoa Group firmly belongs to the joint property of the couple, with Mr. Hyen Bin possessing half of the decision-making power and the right to enjoy the benefits. CEO Kai kept it secret because Mr. Hyen Bin loves technical research and dislikes socializing. The entire room falls dead silent, including the vice president. Everyone is just sitting there completely dumbfounded. I am stunned. I never even knew a contract like that existed. Kai Thuk Vu, what in the world is she really trying to do here? As for the so-called benefit leaking, the vice president accused her of. Kai Ven Thu stares right at the vice president, whose face has turned completely pale green. The investment funds meant for Ko Hui Studio actually received Mr. Hyen Bin's full and complete approval, falling perfectly under the group's standard entertainment industry investment category. We have Mr. Hyen Bin's handwritten authorization signature right here. A document pops up on the screen, and in the bottom right corner is my signature. The handwriting looks exactly like mine. You are not going to believe this, but I suddenly remember something. Half a year ago, Kai Thuk Vu did hand me a folder to sign. At that time, she claimed it was an investment for a highly potential new director's art film. I signed it. No second thoughts. Crazy, right? That promising new director was actually Ko Hui. She had been setting this trap since way back then. Therefore, dear shareholders, Kai Ven Thu's voice is completely calm and full of heavy authority. CEO Kai and Mr. Hyen Bin are the actual true bosses of Thin Hoa Group. Your specific actions today can absolutely be seen as a malicious conspiracy to seize management control of this company. We absolutely reserve the right to pursue all legal responsibilities. Instant reversal. This earth-shattering situation flips in the blink of an eye. The hostile takeover the vice president worked so hard to set up just became a total joke. He slumps down into his chair, completely defeated, face turning ashen. As for Kai Thuk Vu, she slowly stands up, her gaze piercing through the screen, almost like she is staring right at me on the other side. There is no joy of victory in her eyes, only a deep, profound sorrow and absolute resolve. She actually won, using a method I never would have ever expected, just to keep her position absolutely secure. She's definitely not some lovesick woman driven by impulse. Turns out she is way more complex and ruthless than I ever imagined. She set a trap for me, played CHOI, and calculated every single move against the board. Right then, it suddenly hit me. That entire public stunt, that seemingly foolish sacrifice, was actually just another chess piece. A trap to lure me into showing my hand and reveal how many secret cards I was holding. I clicked off the remote monitor. Inside the office, Fatty and the rest of the crew just stared at each other in complete confusion, asking boss, what on earth is going on here? Isn't Kai Thuk Vu supposed to be a lovesick fool completely blinded by love? Yeah, everyone actually believed she had lost her mind over her old flame. But looking at it now, she was sharper than anyone else. She used a media crisis that looked completely out of control to test the exact reactions of 3 parties. First, seeing how the public and the market reacted to her romance with Choi. Second, figuring out who on the board was loyal, who was a snake, and who would jump out when she stumbled. Third, and most important of all, she wanted to test me, Heinbe NH, her seemingly harmless husband, to see how much real power and hidden cards I actually had. In the end, the vice president jumped out and got caught right in her trap, and I stepped out too, exposing my absolute biggest secret, creation tech and the key IM system. She even took advantage of my trust to forge a prior investment authorization, making everything totally legal on her end. Talk about hitting 3 birds with 1 stone and flushing every snake out. This woman is way scarier than I ever thought. Now watch this. I didn't feel defeated at all. Instead, this wild spark of excitement surged through me because this game just got insanely interesting. If K-V really was just some foolish woman completely blinded by love, winning a battle like this wouldn't even feel satisfying in the slightest bit. Turning back to Fatty with a sharp smile on my face, I told him to notify the team. Time to launch Plan B. Fatty's eyes lit up as he gasped. Boss, you actually have a Plan B? Of course I do. Gazing out the window at the massive Then Hoa skyscraper, I thought, if she wants to play, I will play with her to the very end. The real game was just getting started right now. And sure enough, K-V's counterattack came remarkably fast. Right after the storm at the board settled down, she immediately filed a lawsuit using our shared marital assets. She asked the court to freeze every single asset of Creation Tech, while demanding I hand over complete ownership of the Key IM system. Her legal grounds were pretty darn solid here, because Key IM was developed by me throughout our marriage. It naturally counts as joint marital property, which basically means it belongs right to the Then Hoa group. She was clearly trying to corner me. KVNth came to see me once again as her official representative lawyer, but this time around, there was a pretty subtle layer of complex emotion in her eyes. She told me to stop, saying I could never win against her. I just smiled softly, offering to pour her a warm cup of tea, asking if she viewed me as an ungrateful fool who simply did not know his own limits. KVNth just remained silent. I admitted I knew they were best friends, so helping her was totally natural. But I smiled and said I still had one question for her. As a top-tier legal professional, do you honestly believe that everything she is doing right now can genuinely hold up on both legal and moral grounds? KVN's lips parted, but no words came out. I asked her point blank if that premarital asset document was actually real. Did that equity transfer actually take place? Staring directly into her eyes, I watched as KVN immediately turned her gaze away from me, stating those were simply documents provided by her client. She explained her only job was securing the maximum legal benefit for her side. Her voice sounded pretty dry. I understood everything right away. Those documents were completely fake, forged overnight by KVNth just so K-V could handle the board. And even knowing they were fake, KVNth still helped her simply because of their close friendship. Calling her lawyer K, I stood up to show her out, calmly saying we would see each other in court. I mentioned hoping she would not regret her choice today. The moment KVNth left, I immediately placed an overseas phone call. Addressing him as mentor, I said it was Heinbe NH, and I desperately needed help. On the other end of the line was my old mentor, an absolute titan in global artificial intelligence, a highly respected legend with the powerhouse legal team at his command. Back then, I turned down his invitation for K-V, which made him so furious that he almost disowned me. Calling me a stubborn brat, he asked if I still remembered my mentor, wondering what woman tricked me into a corner this time. Chuckling weakly, I asked if he knew everything, and he scoffed that making such a huge scene made it impossible to ignore. He mentioned researching K-V, noting that she definitely had clever tricks but lacked integrity, proving I was completely blind back then. I explained that I needed his help to prove Kiam's core algorithm actually originated from the research paper we co-published 3 years ago. Plus, all starting capital for Creation Tech came directly from my personal patent licensing fees, earned way before my marriage. He scoffed, asking if that was all, expecting something far bigger. The old mentor chuckled lightly. You better believe this. He told me his legal team had already prepared the full evidence chain long ago, ready to show everyone true professionalism. Plus, I have an extra gift for you. What kind of gift? You will find out then. If that kid loses again this time, he better not call himself my student. Hang up. My mind is made. Kai Thukvu, do you think the law is just modeling clay in your hands to shape however you want? You are completely wrong, because law serves only proof. Court day arrives, and Kai Thuk Vu shows up herself in a white suit dress, looking like her usual proud, untouchable queen self. Reporters crowd the courthouse entrance so tightly that not even water could pass through. Thin Hoa corporate power couple turning on each other. A war for $100 billion empire. Every single headline is enough to blow up public interest. Ko Hui shows up too, wearing sunglasses and a mask in the corner gallery seats, quietly acting like he is backing Kai Thuk Vu. The trial kicks off, and Kai Van Du strikes first as the defense attorney for Kai Thuk Vu. She hands over a forged equity agreement alongside fake notarized marital documents, arguing with tight logic that the origin core belongs strictly to Thin Hoa Group. Everything genuinely seems to be swinging in Kai Thuk Vu's favor right now. When my turn comes, I skip hiring a lawyer and step up to the podium to defend myself. I look at Kai Van Du and ask my first question. Attorney Kai, about that American property notarization document you just submitted. Is the authority listed really the United States Federal Notary Office? Kai Van Du clearly never saw this question coming at all. Stunned for a moment, she replies, yes it is. So tell me, Attorney Kai, do you even realize that no such thing as a federal notary office actually exists in America? Not at all. Every notary task there is done independently by state-authorized officers. Now watch her face. Kai Van Du instantly turns completely pale. She made a huge rookie blunder in basic common sense. Maybe she was rushed, or maybe she never saw me as someone who actually understands how the world works. That single forged paper just exposed her biggest, most careless flaw. This might just be a translation error, she stammers, trying to cover it up. A translation error? I just smile softly. Then what about the official verification? Signed directly by my personal mentor, Professor Rogers, the rotating president of the World AI Association? Surely that does not suffer from translation errors either. I hand over my true evidence to court, a crystal clear technical diagram. It proves without a doubt that Origin's core comes straight from joint research done by me and my teacher 3 years ago, backed by independent intellectual property rights and full bank records for all creation tech funding. Every single transaction traces straight back to my own personal accounts, set up long before my marriage. The evidence is rock solid. Kai Van Du's carefully constructed web of lies instantly crumbles into pieces when faced with absolute, undeniable truth. Right then, the judge dismisses every single claim from Kai Thuk Vu and immediately launches a full investigation into Kai Van Du for submitting forged court evidence. Kai Van Du slumps back into her chair with hollow, empty eyes. Her entire legal career is effectively finished right here. I glance over at Kai Thuk Vu. She still sits upright, but her tightly clenched hands show her inner turmoil. She lost round 1 badly, but for me, this is nowhere near enough. As court adjourns, I stop Ko Hui right in his tracks just as he tries sneaking out. Mr. Ko, what is the rush? Ko Hui freezes, turning around to face me with guilty, shifting eyes as he mutters, what do you want? Nothing much. Stepping right up to him, I lower my voice. Just a quick reminder for you. Kai Thuk Vu can barely even protect herself anymore. That new movie you just wrapped using all her money? Without more promotional funding, it might never even hit theaters. You had better go find yourself a new backup plan. Ko Hui's face turns completely pale and twisted. I pat his shoulder, turning around with a calm smile. I know the seed of doubt I just planted will quickly sprout inside Ko Hui's mind. A self-serving leech like him will definitely never stay loyal or sink with a single ship. I want Kai Thuk Vu to taste the exact pain of being deserted by everyone around her. This court ruling turns out to be the absolute straw that breaks the camel's back. Thin Hoa Group stock prices instantly take another massive nosedive. The board of directors completely loses their patience. Bypassing Kai Thuk Vu, they come directly to me. Their offer is super tempting. If I agree to merge creation tech with Thin Hoa, they will fire Kai Thuk Vu immediately and hand me the chairman seat of the new combined company. I turn them down. This Thin Hoa ship is far too old and far too filthy. I tell their negotiating vice president directly. I will not let my Origin tech get stained by all their trash. My goal was never to become a second Kai Thuk Vu or simply take her spot. What I am building is a brand new business empire belonging to Hyan Bin alone. The executive leaves empty-handed and disappointed. They just do not realize that my vision has long outgrown this tiny little Thin Hoa playground. All I want is the vast open sky and the wide sea. After suffering a crushing defeat in court and watching her company's stock plummet, Kai Thuk Vu finally strips away all her pride and fake facade. For the very first time, she willingly steps into my small office. She is no longer wearing those expensive designer clothes. Just a simple white shirt and basic jeans, completely barefaced, looking thoroughly worn down, haggard, and utterly helpless. BNH, can we please stop fighting each other? She stands right in front of me, voice raspy, eyes red and swollen. I admit defeat. I will hand the Hoa over to you. I want nothing else. Can we just go back to how things used to be? She cries, tears streaming down like a broken string of pearls. This is the first time in 5 long years I have seen her weep so heartbrokenly. If this were back then, my heart would ache terribly, and I would hold her tight. But right now my heart is cold as stone. KV, do you honestly think we can go back? I look at her and ask calmly. Of course we can. We definitely can. She frantically blurts out, I was possessed by madness. I was wrong. I should never have tested you or used you. I know I shattered your heart to pieces, please. I beg you to give me just one more chance. Just one last time. I will definitely make it up to you properly. Make it up? I interrupt her cold. Is your so-called making it up to me using secret schemes you thought I was blind to, just to lock me down and turn me into your secondary brand? KV shudders violently, staring at me in complete disbelief. What do you even know? I know far more than you could ever imagine. Now watch. I pull something out from my drawer. A voice recorder. I hit the play button, and the recorded voices of KV and KVN echo out. It was a conversation they had in her office right after the board meeting. Storm. The Kvi's voice carries a subtle mix of exhaustion and smug arrogance. Hein BNH is still far too naive. He thought he hid everything so well, yet I still backed him into a corner and forced out all his hidden cards. KVN's voice sounds hesitant. The Kvi, isn't doing this hurting him way too badly? After all, he is still the Kvi scoffs coldly, hurting him. He was the one who betrayed me first. He secretly built that innovative tech project behind my back because he wanted to branch out alone. I noticed it long ago. Instead of waiting for him to grow full wings and replace me, I might as well strike first to take control. Once I merge innovation and key, I'm into the Hoa this time. His wings will be completely broken for good. By then, he will have no choice but to come back to my side obediently, acting as my submissive husband. I cannot afford to lose his brilliant talent, but I will absolutely never tolerate his betrayal under any condition. As for CHOI, he is nothing more than a little pawn in my game. Used to provoke Hein BNH, and used to shut those stubborn old shareholders right up. Once this business wraps up, I will just toss him a chunk of money and send him away. Men are all the same. Those I can control are the good ones. The audio recording ends, plunging the office into a deep, dead silence. While KV's face turns completely pale, drained of any color. Her lips tremble as she stares at me like I am a monster. Since when? From the day I decided to move out. I hid this inside the potted plant in your office. I say flatly, I just wanted to know what I truly meant to you. The result was truly fascinating. And this is my real hidden trump card. Not the key I'm platform, nor my mentor's whole network, but rather my final test. To uncover who you truly are deep inside. Had you held even a shred of genuine affection left for me, I might not have pushed things to such a ruthless end. But the words on that recording crushed the absolute last lingering hope I had straight into dust and ashes. To her, I was never a true lover nor a family, merely a talented human tool that she needed to grasp firmly in her grip. Her so-called feelings for me were a twisted obsession, mixing exploitation, contempt, and an unhealthy urge to control everything. The love she keeps talking about is so cheap it makes me sick. KV finally breaks down completely. She lunges forward to snatch the voice recorder from my hands, but I dodge effortlessly. She crashes hard onto the floor, letting out desperate, agonizing sobs. Hein BNH, why are you doing this to me? I was just too terrified of losing you. She weeps uncontrollably while screaming out erratic, frantic words. I truly love you. Every single thing I did was because I love you. Love me? I stand tall and look down at her, my eyes completely devoid of warmth. Your so-called love. Is your love about snapping my wings and turning me into a little canary trapped inside your cage? KV, put away that pathetic hypocritical front of yours. The only things you have ever truly loved are yourself, your own power, your empire, and your obsession with total control. I put the voice recorder safely away. I will not release this recording, not for your sake, but because I find it filthy. I do not even want your Hoa anyway. I want to witness with my own eyes how the empire you built crumbles piece by piece in your hands. What else do you plan to do? KV looks up in sheer horror. I smile calmly. Remember when my mentor said he wanted to give me a present? Well, that gift just arrived. I turn my phone screen toward her. revealing breaking international news that just popped up with a truly shocking headline. The powerful Abyss investment fund from Gold Street officially launches a hostile takeover against Thin Hoa Group, the Abyss Fund. Kayleigh mutters under her breath as the light in her eyes instantly vanishes. She knows that name. 3 years ago, this massive corporate giant almost devoured her newly founded Thin Hoa Group whole. Back then, I went without sleep or food for 7 whole days and nights just to push them back. Now, they have returned, but the one man who once shielded her from every storm now stands on the opposite side, smiling as he enjoys her sheer despair. Why? Why would Professor Rogers do this? Kayleigh collapses onto the floor, completely unable to comprehend it. Because 3 years ago, the true leader behind the Abyss Fund was one of Professor Rogers' top star students who also happens to be my senior brother. Later, differing views on business and research drove them apart. Our master always blamed me for holding my senior brother back, leaving him bitter toward me for all these years. So then, the condition for master helping me this time was simple. I cannot interfere between Thin Hoa and the Abyss Fund anymore. He called it private house cleaning between master and student, ordering me not to take sides. Naturally, I will not help. Not only will I refuse to help, I am pouring fuel on the fire. Watch this. I toss a thick file in front of Kayleigh. Inside is a strategic partnership agreement between my creative technology and Europe's biggest tech giant, Glory Technology. We are joining forces to build a smart ecosystem powered by next-generation global internet connectivity networks. While you are tied up fighting the Abyss Fund, I will seize every single one of your overseas markets. Once you are utterly exhausted and your cash flow snaps, your shareholders will swarm like hungry sharks, catching a scent, tearing you to shreds. And as for your precious white moonlight, I pull out yet another detailed file folder. Here is solid proof of CHOI evading taxes over the years, alongside evidence showing his secret affairs with various female celebrities. Alright, the whistleblower happens to be his most trusted manager. I simply helped that manager connect with a far better offer elsewhere. Kayleigh trembles uncontrollably as the rug is completely pulled out from underneath her feet. Abandoned by everyone, every dirty trick she once used on others has now been returned to her in full force. Kayleigh, go ahead and enjoy the bitter fruits you sowed yourself. I turn around and walk out, leaving her desperate cries echoing behind me. Outcome locked. And trust me, it gets even better from here. Everything that followed unfolded just as predicted, only far more dramatic. The Abyss Fund launched an attack of absolute ferocity and speed. Thin Hoa Group crumbled completely. Kayleigh tried turning things around, but without me acting as her master strategist, she was completely lost. A series of catastrophic decision-making errors only accelerated the company's total collapse. Meanwhile, CHOI's massive tax evasion scandal exploded publicly. His messy personal life dragged him from top superstar down to a hated outcast overnight, despised by the whole public. Not only is he facing massive financial penalties and potential prison time, but a cornered CHO also pulled off the most desperate move imaginable. He publicly released a video crying bitterly, claiming Kayleigh forced and manipulated him into everything. He alleged she promised investments only if he played along in a fake romantic affair just to make her husband jealous. He even exposed how Kayleigh committed multiple illegal acts just to crush her business competitors. That single video became the final blow, crushing Thin Hoa Group as public opinion completely reversed. Kayleigh instantly transformed from victim into a scheming villain who played with emotions and stopped at nothing. With Thin Hoa's reputation completely ruined, stock prices hit rock bottom until the Abyss Fund bought them out for pennies. Kayleigh's era has completely ended. She lost everything: her company reputation, wealth, and even her closest best friend KVN had her law license revoked for forging evidence, leaving her future utterly destroyed. She was left entirely alone, with not a single soul by her side. 6 months later, picture landed on a major finance magazine cover with the bold headline, "Creative Technology Eastern Power Opening a New Smart Era." After partnering with Glory Technology, the company went public, watched its valuation surge, and became the brightest unicorn in the entire tech field. That evening, stepped out to attend a high-profile charity gala. In the parking lot outside, I spotted a figure both familiar and strange. Kayleigh, wearing plain clothes as a waitress for a high-end restaurant. She was being harassed by a drunk customer splashing drinks in her face. She didn't fight back, silently enduring it with head bowed. The once proud queen was now reduced to total dust. She locked eyes with me too. Her gaze was completely packed with mixed feelings. Some resentment, some heavy regret, but mostly just pure numbness and total despair. I did not take a single step forward, just stood right there watching her calmly. My assistant asks if I need him to handle it. I shake my head. No need. Let us just go. Stepping right into the car, I never looked back over my shoulder even once. When it comes to Kai Thuk Vu, I feel absolutely no love and zero hate anymore. Her miserable ending today is exactly the karma she deserves, completely unrelated to me. I am definitely not playing the saint to sympathize with her right now, and I certainly do not feel any kind of emptiness after finally pulling off this payback. Because honestly, ultimate goal was never simply about getting total payback against her. My real target is the wide open sky, building a solid future that actually belongs entirely to me and nobody else. My phone lights up with a new WeChat message from Fatty. He complains, "Boss, you ran off from your own celebration party again. Everyone is actually waiting for you over here." Oh, right. I just saw the news. That jerk Ko Hui got sentenced to 3 years in prison. So satisfying. I just crack a small smile and type out my reply. Coming right now. Outside the car window, those bright city lights look exactly like a galaxy. This completely brand new life of mine has only just begun. Being in total control of my own life, like this feels genuinely incredible.